welcome to U.S. Defense Line Channel. War continues to spread to the territory of Russia. Tensions are high in Moscow. Scope of the war is getting wider. Explosion sounds echoed in Russia. Ukrainian units are stepping up their operations. Russian troops cornered. Explosions took place one after another at critical points in Russia. According to the breaking news, explosion sounds were reported in the Belgorod and Kursk regions of Russia. Allegedly, Ukrainian troops counterattacked the Kursk region with mortars. In the Belgorod region, it was reported that a counterattack was carried out with unmanned aerial vehicles. Russian troops suffered losses in the face of unexpected moves. Ukraine and Russia continue to bombard each other. Ukraine renders the weapons and military equipment of the Russian forces unusable. This time, it was reported that he carried out 33 airstrikes with his planes. It was reported that these attacks were carried out in 26 regions and 7 anti-aircraft defense systems where the Russian forces' weapons and military equipment are concentrated. Ukrainian rocket and artillery units also announced that the Russian forces hit 3 ammunition depots, 4 points where the Russian forces, their weapons and military equipment are concentrated, and 6 other important military points. While Russia is losing a lot of military resources and equipment on Ukrainian territory, it is also starting to lose it on its own territory. With the latest moves, Ukrainian troops are proving their superior success in foreign lands. After Russia increased its attacks on infrastructures recently, Ukrainian forces began operations at critical points. Moreover, the territory of Russia was also included in these operations. In the past days, explosions started to increase in Belgorod and critical Russian points. Many military targets were seriously damaged. This also increased the tension between the countries. As can be seen from the latest moves, the increase in moves both in Russia and in Crimea shows that Ukraine has accelerated its progress and can carry its struggle beyond its own territory. After the previous moves, Moscow had taken various measures. Measures taken by Russia, which was reported to have taken measures on the border in the Belgorod region, drew attention. It is also seen that the measures that are considered quite inadequate do not work. In fact, these measures were only for ground operations. Thus, it was seen that sufficient steps were not taken to prevent a possible air attack by Ukraine. If Russia, which is seen to be inadequate in defense both on the fronts and in its own country, cannot make progress in this regard, the defeats will increase even more. At the same time, Russia's losses, which have reached serious levels, are increasing with the critical attacks. Again, the important military weapons of the Russian forces were destroyed. General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine continues to announce the latest casualties of Russian soldiers. Ukrainian armed forces destroyed 1 helicopter, 1 aircraft, 1 air defense system, 3 artillery systems, and 4 multiple launch rocket systems of the Russian forces. After such losses, many areas of Russia, including its sea economy, suffer, having to face serious shortcomings in both defense and attack. Moscow is experiencing a decrease in its operational power with losses on the fronts. While Ukraine was organizing these attacks, Russian forces also carried out attacks on Ukrainian territory. Russian forces have carried out intense airstrikes in recent days. This time, it carried out 47 airstrikes, 7 missile strikes, and over 90 multiple launch rocket system attacks. Deficiencies in the military field on the ground are putting the Russian troops very hard. Moreover, it is seen that many of these units are untrained and inadequately equipped. This makes the loss of military resources and equipment inevitable for Russia. At the same time, although Russia continues its attacks, many of them do not benefit from their success. Ukraine again neutralized the attacks of the Russian forces. Ukraine shot down Russian missiles in Odessa. According to information from Odessa, it was reported that Russian forces fired 3 of 59 cruise missiles in the Odessa region with a Su-30 plane from the Black Sea direction in the morning. Ukrainian defense conducted a successful operation. Ukrainian air defense forces shot down all missiles. Russia, on the other hand, used the ammunition it used in vain. Attacks of the Russian forces were not limited to these. It was announced that Russian forces launched an attack on Kiev at night. Russian troops reportedly sent 6 Iranian-made Shad drones to Kiev. Ukrainian warplanes stepped in and destroyed these unmanned aerial vehicles. Attacks also took place in the Cherkasy Oblast. Head of the Cherkasy Oblast Military Administration, Ihor Taburets, announced that Russian forces attacked certain places in Cherkasy during the night. It was also reported that air defense shot down 2 Shahed drones, one of which hit the infrastructure. As it is known, these unmanned aerial vehicles produced in Iran cannot achieve success in the skies of Ukraine. This is due to both the production features and the success of the Ukrainian units. As Russia's losses increase as a result of every move, support for Ukraine is increasing and it is getting closer and closer to getting the defense systems it wants. Support for Ukraine now comes from Spain. Spanish Foreign Minister José Manuel Albares paid a visit to Kiev. Spanish diplomat also thanked the Spanish embassy in Ukraine for their work. Towards the end of October, Ukrainian Defense Minister Alexei Reznikov hinted at a new military aid package from Spain. Ukraine made statements about the new package and the content of the package. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba, during his meeting with Spanish Foreign Minister José Manuel Albares, stated that he is happy about the new package and what they are. Spain will provide Ukraine with missiles for Hawk air defense systems, anti-tank missile systems, and their weapons and shells, and other necessary military equipment. As can be seen from these developments, every time Russia increases its attacks, it suffers the most damage on its own behalf. Because it is not successful while attacking, and countries are taking action due to the attacks, increasing and accelerating their support for Ukraine. Russia's nuclear threats have also long been a key issue in the war. Russia has made many controversial statements about using nuclear weapons. When such weapons threats from Russia became common, Western countries also warned Russia about this issue. Last comment on Russia's nuclear statements came from Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated in an interview that he was not sure about Russia's threats to use nuclear weapons and the possibility of a risky war, and he did not want to predict Russia's actions. He explained that the reason is that Russia likes to do the opposite. He also stated that there is no need to be afraid of Russia and that he does not think that Russia is rational. New statements came from Russia about the nuclear attack. In a statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation addressed the countries that have nuclear weapons. Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs claimed that the primary task is to prevent military conflict between nuclear weapon states. Washington and its allies were reported to be increasingly concerned after Russia's top military leaders recently discussed when and how Russia could use risky weapons in Ukraine. But then White House spokesman John Kirby said in a statement that the United States did not see any sign that Russia was preparing to use nuclear weapons. It can also be thought that Moscow made such critical statements mostly in order not to hinder the countries themselves. Since the first days of the war, Russia has made statements to the countries that helped Ukraine in the war and to Ukraine many times that increased the tension. However, we can say that these statements are mostly bad for Russia, because for every wrongful act, he is subject to sanctions many times. Moreover, there are serious economic problems due to this situation. Despite this, Moscow does not put an end to its reactionary statements and attacks. All kinds of decisions made by countries are also effective in shaping the war. If Russia continues its offensive, which ends badly for itself, it will have to deal with defeats rather than successes. Ukraine, on the other hand, will achieve great success if it can continue the progress it has made with accurate moves. Now every step taken is more important than the previous one. We'll see what happens in the next few days. We have reached the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video. You can easily follow new videos by subscribing. I wish you all a war-free day. See you.